I just wanted to show you a couple things I'm going to do. Now, I've been really busy lately. I've had a lot of jobs to do. I've had repairs to do. I've had electrical and plumbing and cleanups and drilling holes and organizing hurricane shutters and doing all kinds of things. So I just haven't had a lot of time to make any real videos or do anything. And plus, I've been a little discouraged with the frustration I've had dealing with the idiots at YouTube, which I don't think I can even find a person there. I think it's all just an AI generated disaster. But anyway, I went what was it, a couple days ago, and I bought some of this meat that was on sale. So what I need to do is start preparing that so I can cook it up. Everything's falling down, of course. I want to show you kind of what I get. There it is. Now what we have here, we have meat that was selling for $2.98 a pound. See? And it was marked down. Now it looks like this is, let's see, 25 and a half pounds, more or less. And when I bought that meat, I had just gone to Fresco y Mas by bicycle, and there's no basket on the bicycle. So what I did, I basically carried it home, the 3 miles or whatever it is, from Fresco. And I guess that's sort of a workout right there. So what I want to do, I want to get this so that I can make multiple meals out of it. Now, how am I going to do that? Well, it's really very simple. All I have to do, I got my cutting board, which is, by the way, too small. I just have to cut into this and then, just cut it up into little steaks and pieces of meat. So what I want to do is get the plastic open. Now we've got a mess leaking out of this. Of course, the cutting board is just a mess. So we're going to move this so we don't drip all over the floor and make an even bigger mess over the sink. So let's see where I put that sponge. What a mess. Okay. When you're a carnivore, you're going to be dealing with all kinds of messes, which is fine. I mean, those things happen. Okay. So what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and let me get some of this opened up over the sink, and then I'm going to move the cutting board back to the countertop and get this plastic peeled off of here. There we go. All right, let that drain out if we can. At least we know it's fresh. All right, so there's the meat. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use these freezer bags, and I'll go ahead and should have collected this juice because I can put that in the compost pile. I'm going to go ahead and use this cutting board, and then what I'll do, I'm going to make 2-pound amounts because that's what I have for a meal. Go ahead and, all right. So we'll keep the scale handy. That makes it a lot easier. I'm going to go ahead and trim off this end. See what I can do. Not too bad. Now this should be a pretty good size piece. So let's see what we got. See? Pretty heavy. So what I'm going to do is trim this a little bit. I'll make some little bits out of it. Try to get it around 2 pounds. I mean, it's not, let's see. It's a little bit more than 2 pounds. We'll slice a little bit more off of that. I'll go ahead and eat this as part of a stew. Let's see. That's still more than 2 pounds. Oh well. I'll take another slice out of it. Once you get it down to a science, it's pretty easy to estimate. But here we go. Yeah, it's a little over, but that's good. So this would be enough to make one meal. Whether you're going to be cooking on the road or cooking in a pot, no problem. So what I'm going to do, let me see if I can find these little, I'll get the smaller freezer bags. Now again, I didn't buy these things. They're kind of like stuff I recovered from cleanouts, because when you're poor and thrifty, you have to be kind of, I don't know, resourceful. This may be a little too small. Let me see what happens if I try to stuff this in. It may work. Usually I end up bursting the bag, but no big deal. Oh, I think it might fit. Okay, it does fit. What do you know? So anyway, now I have this little bag here, and I want to get it clogged up. And that's got 2 pounds of meat in it. So we'll go ahead and put this in the freezer. Like that. Okay. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to cut steaks out of this. Now again, I have this meat. I'm going to be making lunch. So we're going to go ahead and get the pot. I'll use this pan or whatever it is. And we'll go ahead and put this in the pot. We're going to make a meat stew out of that. I can go ahead and weigh this if I want. That's about 1 pound of meat. So we'll have to add more to it, but any little scraps we'll put in there and we'll cook this up for lunch. Now, as you can see, I really do need a bigger cutting board. I got that wooden one, but I don't know, that thing is, who knows. Maybe I should use the wooden one. Okay. All right. This one is a little bigger. Go ahead and put this here. And let's see. Giant mess. Look at that. Ugh. All right. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now, what I'm going to do is start cutting some steaks. Now again, I like having at least a 1 pound steak, but a lot of times I'll make a 2 pound steak. So let me go ahead and slice up some of that. Now, obviously, when you go to the store, the butcher will cut the steaks for you for free. But why? I mean, seriously. There's not that many people working there. You usually have one person, and then you have a bunch of people lined up. Thank goodness the Fresco y Mas always seems to put some of the meat out where a customer can just pick it up and buy it. Okay, now we have one steak right here. And that's almost 2 pounds. So see, you can get pretty close. I mean, it's not 100%, but it's close enough. So we'll go ahead and what I'll do, I'll go ahead and section this up a bit, and then we'll put it into another one of those bags. And again, this may seem a little weird, but what you're going to do is just let it thaw out a bit, and then you can plop it on the engine, or you can do whatever you need with it. Put it in a pot. There we go. All right, so we got another 2 pounds of meat ready to go. Good for another meal. In the freezer you go. The old 1977 Kenmore freezer. Back when Sears was a decent store, or even existed. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll try to cut another one. And again, I don't even worry about trying to trim fat because I like fat. And when I cook these steaks, they're typically going to be cooked either in a pot or on the engine. So they'll be nice and tender. And a friend of mine was even mentioning I should start using the pressure cooker again. But anyway, enough of that. I don't think you came here to watch me trim meat. That one's a little more. So we'll put some of the extra into today's lunch. There we go. All right. It's still a little much. That's a good thing about eating. There we are. A little piece there. And that's it. Yeah, it's a little over, but that's fine. Just right for lunch. You probably think, what kind of crazy guy eats 2 pounds of meat for lunch? I mean, seriously, what a greedy person. But no, it works out well. And anyway, we'll go ahead and put this in here. Now, you can also write your date on there if you decide to store this stuff long term, but since it's my house, this won't be here very long. This will be gone in a matter of weeks. Not months, and not years. You'd be surprised at how many homes I've cleaned out and years later you find meat that's from 2019 or 2020 or 2021. It's not acceptable. And speaking of not acceptable, I'm still upset about the whole YouTube fiasco. I've gotten to the point where I wonder, is it even worth trying to post videos there and then hope that they're not going to delete them? Well, I'm going to continue to post videos, and as requested by several of my subscribers, I'm going to create some alternative accounts on some other servers. Also, I'm making sure that I keep my digital files this time. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the files that I had interviews and stuff, some of them have been removed by the other channels, so they're probably lost forever, including my first interview that I did on the Joey Schwartz channel. That's probably long gone, but I know that Anthony Chafee and Dr. Baker will most likely keep the videos on their channel, but I'll go ahead and back them up anyway. That would be ideal. Now, speaking of YouTube, I've had people ask me several times over the years, what is your reason for being on YouTube? Well, I can tell you one thing it's not for, and that's for making money, because I have never been compensated a single cent in 16 years. It's going to be, what, from 2007? It's going to be, more and more time, and I've never made any money from YouTube, and that was never my intention in the first place. My intention, as I've stated several times, was just to be able to communicate with other people, to be able to meet different people and, eventually meet in person. Now, I was kind of hoping that when Dr. Baker came to Miami to visit his family, maybe he would take the time to meet, but you know how it is with rich people. They generally don't have time to meet the poor people. They're too busy trying to do their thing, and I understand that. But in my case, it's really the average person that I want to meet. And in fact, I would say out of everybody, it would be the people that I've communicated with on my channel. They have other channels, or in some cases they don't have a channel, but they like to comment on my videos. Those are the ones hopefully I'll be able to meet in the future. That would be ideal. But then again, whoever the first one will be, that's anyone's guess. The one thing that I do know is that a lot of people have benefited from this lifestyle, and I have some local friends that I'm trying to get more and more into the low carbohydrate carnivore lifestyle. And again, any of you that have watched my interviews and videos and stuff like that, I'm not pushing a carnivore diet because I don't think it's for everybody. I think most people would benefit from a whole foods, meat-based, omnivorous diet. And I think in many ways that would be better, because if you have the opportunity, you'll be able to grow some of your own food. And I believe that that's one of the most important things. I want to live long enough and be in the right place so that instead of having to go to the store and buy this, I could just get the whole animal and process it myself at home. That would be, in my opinion, the best way to go. But in order to do that, you got to have a place that has some space to it, Yeah, that's close enough. Because there's nothing better than being able to prepare your own food. Now, I got into a bit of a conversation with a friend of mine who loves to eat out. And he was asking me, well, if you're on this diet, what do you do when people ask you if you want to eat out? I say, you know what? You do the best you can. There's nothing that says that you can't eat out. And there's nothing that says you have to eat only meat. That's crazy. The thing is that once you've become adapted to the carnivore diet, you really don't want to eat anything else. I'm sure in the beginning, when you've been trained for most of your life to eat duck food, you might think, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to have a treat. I'm going to have something different. I'm not going to eat meat all the time. And then it becomes sort of like a punishment. Like when I was a kid, my parents would tell me, well, you can eat your meat if you eat your vegetables. So the idea was to eat your salad. And a lot of times people would have the salad with their meal. I figured, you know what, I'm going to eat the salad first. That way I can get it out of the way. Plus, when my parents aren't looking, I can stick it in my pocket or put it on the plate where nobody will notice it. And if I'm at home, I could simply throw it out the jalousie windows and the ducks would just snap it up. But it became kind of a habit, and as long as I was on the omnivorous diet, I would always eat the salad first and then finish with the meat. The one thing I never understood was the whole concept of dessert. I just don't like the idea of dessert. And I never really understood why so many people look forward to it, because dessert is like the worst of both worlds. It tastes nasty and it's bad for you. If I want something that's bad for you, I want something that tastes good, like a thick, juicy steak or a big, fat ducky cooked in beef tallow. Now that's good stuff. But cakes and cookies, yeah, nasty. I also thought of things like cakes as girly food. That's food for women. Think of a cupcake. I mean, when you call somebody a cupcake, what does that mean? Does that mean that they're strong and masculine and independent? No, not a good, cupcake. I mean, come on. Now, if you talk about beef or beefing up, that sounds good. So if you're going to beef up, that means that you're going to get stronger. Anyway, I lost one. The stupid shelf thing fell off. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I gotta make room. I want to go iguana hunting, and stupid shelf broke. Oh well. I'm just leaving the camera on a stand because I know a lot of people don't like getting dizzy when it's moving around. So anyway, in terms of YouTube influencers and all that, I was just thinking about it when I was working yesterday. As you know, I tend to do manual work, and I was basically drilling holes to help put up shelves and stuff like that. So, unlike a lot of people, I don't use headphones. I don't listen to, I do listen to YouTube videos if they have Wi-Fi, but I generally do that just from the laptop. So, but in this case, I was just thinking about some of the things I wanted to think about, and I noticed that a lot of people today that have YouTube channels, they all have memberships, and they have these courses. Everybody has a course. They have some kind of finance course or diet course, blah, 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 blah. And then the other thing is coaching. Everybody has coaching this, coaching that. And I'm not against that. There are certain people out there that I have a lot of respect for. And in fact, you've probably seen me on their YouTube channels. Those are the people that I believe deserve to have that type of business because they have a lot of experience and information they can share with others. But there's just so many. And the thing is, this is a tough economy. If you have a choice between paying for services and buying food, you got to buy food. There's just no other way. And I think that if you're somewhat mentally stable, you should be able to deal with this on your own. Now, if you're in a position where you need help, then you want to get one of these people. Or if you're trying to maximize your potential, maybe you are trying to maximize your physique or you have some medical issues, well, yeah, then you can definitely, if you have the resources, take advantage of the service. That's what it's there for. But in my case, I would never do that because I just don't have the money. I'm not that poor, but I'm poor enough where if I was to start subscribing to all these people, I wouldn't be able to eat. So I'm not going to do it. And in terms of my channel, I would never do that either because the whole idea of a membership, in my opinion, is nonsense. I mean, think about it. Why would I charge for something that I came up with for free? It doesn't make sense. So I'm not going to do that. Now, on the other hand, I wouldn't mind being able to buy and sell products, for example, good quality meats, eggs, whatever, or even for people that are not carnivores, maybe garden or home products, hardware, whatever, equipment. You could have equipment supplies for machinery, farm equipment, or whatever, even tires, anything. I don't have a problem selling those things because the way I figure it, if I want to buy something, I got to buy it from somebody. And if I can find a product that I like for a price that is reasonable, I'm going to buy it. And it would be even better if it was from somebody I knew or from a channel that I was part of. You know, that'd be a good thing. But a lot of these other scammy things, products that don't make sense and services and all that, I just really don't see the purpose of it. Anyway, now again, I'm sure most people are like, well, I'm wasting my time watching this guy cut up a big slab of meat. Okay, that's fine. And remember, you don't have to watch this video. You could skip through it, you could speed it up. It doesn't really matter. That's fine. But I just wanted to share a little slice. Get the pun? Yeah. Pretty sad, right? A slice of my life. Now, there's a lot more that I want to talk about. And obviously, it's not just diet. For me, it's also things like energy and the economy. There's a lot of things in the economy I want to talk about. I'm just in the process. I've been struggling with making my home studio look decent. I rigged up some lights, but the air conditioner broke in the room, and I need to get some parts for it, and I just haven't had the time and haven't found the deal yet. So I'm not going to really do a whole lot with that. But when it comes down to it, and this is what I believe, we all have to find our own way. So a lot of times it's nice when you can get some help, but if you don't get it, you just have to work through it, and there's always an alternative. That's the beauty of it. You know, as long as you are physically able to do things, there's actually an advantage, because your health is more valuable, in my opinion, than almost anything else. I mean, think about it. If your health has failed, it's going to be very expensive. And the worst part is, you're not going to be able to do what you could. Also, mentally, it is very unlikely that a person who has a diminished physical state is going to have an optimal mental state. I mean, think about it. If you're constantly sick and inflamed and you feel bad, it's going to be really hard to think straight and do the right things. Now, I have a list of things I want to go over. I'm going to try to do that when I can, just to show what my plans are for the channel. And again, YouTube wants to play games. You know what? I'm going to post what I'm going to post. And if for some reason they take it down, don't feel like, you know, I did it. They did it. And hopefully soon, I'm going to come up with a whole new set of material. Now, I just don't have the computing power. And honestly, I don't have the time to try and learn some of this software for editing. And it does annoy me a lot of times when you see these YouTube channels that have tremendous amounts of editing and all these jump cuts all the time. I hate that. So I try to avoid that. When I make a video, even if I did have the way to edit it, I don't really want to have a video where you just cut all the time. When it comes to cutting, there's only one thing I like cutting, and you can see what it is right now. Okay? So, all right. That being said, let me just tell you, I would like to get more input. Now, you can comment on my videos, but if you look on my YouTube profile, you'll see that I also have an email that you can contact me at. Feel free to let me know. And if you're any of the new channels that want to start out doing interviews, I've been the first interview of several channels out there, and for some of them, pretty popular ones. So feel free to contact me. And as you can hear in the background, there's a finance YouTube channel coming on. As you know, finance is one of those things that I like. And I have a lot of ideas on that too. I believe that a lot of the problems we have in the world today actually come from the world of finance. And I think understanding how the system works, how the money supply is manipulated, how corporations get access to easy money and basically buy out things that are productive and good for us is valuable. Okay. Oh, that's pretty good. I think I may have a couple more. How much is this? Okay. Cut a little bit of this off. Maybe stew the rest of this. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So we'll go ahead and put this meat in a pot. Get the fire on. See? There it goes. And we'll let that roast for a while. Okay. That's really it. Put my breakfast pan over here. And I have this last piece. We'll go ahead and bag that up, and that's it. And believe it or not, it took less time than if I would have gone to the butcher shop in the back of the store, because by the time that they did this, I'd probably still be there. All right. So anyway, if you've made it this far, I appreciate it. Hopefully you'll click like. I haven't bored you too much. And I'll be putting out another video soon. All right? Thanks.